We're back at Bushy Park, Barbados for the fifth and final round of the second Suzuki Challenge Swift Cup Summer Series. The almost certain chance of rain is only adding to an already pressure cooker atmosphere, with 4 races in one day for the first time, 2 in daylight and 2 under floodlights. Although it's been a very competitive season with 5 different winners in the 11 races to date, Ryan Wood's 5 victories have given him a healthy 26-point lead over Jason Parkinson, who has 3 wins to his credit. With a maximum of 100 points on offer in today's 4 races, Josh Reed and Kenrick Snapper Husbands are the only other drivers with a mathematical chance of taking the title. Welcome back as Swift Cup drivers and crews are checking GoPros, qualifying times and helmet straps. Kyle Catwell, who missed the previous round, claimed his first pole position in early afternoon qualifying, with Martinique's Pascal Calvel enjoying a personal best in second, ahead of Darrell Clark and Snapper Husbands. Wood was 5th alongside Guyana's Christian Jeffrey, with Reed and Parkinson side by side 7th and 8th. For all 3 title contenders, it was their worst grid position of the summer series. Jamaica's Timothy Stewart and Carlos Edwards lined up on row 5, with Barry Gale on his own at the back.
As they go out for the first time, loads of wheel spin for poleman Kyle Catwell. Good start for Snapper Husbands, who eases up the inside of Pascal Calvel, who's already lost out to Darrell Clark, who is up into second place as they go into the hammer for the first time, with Snapper being pushed very wide, not literally, but just to make space for the man alongside him, which is Jason Parkinson. So Snapper drops back down to 7th place. So the convoy of Suzuki Sports heads past the Automotive Art Complex for the first time, down into the W's, the ICBL W's, appropriately, with the ICBL car currently leading this race. Kyle Catwell, I don't know what he had for breakfast, but clearly it worked for him, and he leads from Darrell Clark down into the Dipper and the MQI Bullet for the first time. Pascal Calvel losing out again, this time to the Team Massey United Insurance entry of Josh Reed, and it is Parkinson and Carlos Edwards who take the joker on the first lap. The man who wins the Swift Cup will get a free radical experience here at Bushy Park, Barbados. The man who sets the fastest lap throughout the season will also get one, and Woody loses out as Josh Reed dives down the inside as they go into the W's, and Woody is fighting back. He's trying to keep the nose of the Team Digital car alongside the Massey United Insurance entry of Josh Reed, but he fails to do so. But he's going to fight back by only looking rather than diving along the inside. But then Josh Reed makes a mess of the exit of the Dipper and the MQI Bullet on the grass, and so that's lost him the advantage that he had gained, and Woody takes the joker, as does Snapper Husbands and Tim Stewart. Kyle Catwell leads at the end of lap 3. This is lap 6 out of 8. Kyle Catwell was leading by 3.062 seconds at the end of the previous lap. Looking back to the third place battle, side by side on the inside is Ryan Wood. Challenging him around the outside is Pascal Calvel. Woody was ahead of Calvel by just a tenth as they went across the line at the end of the previous lap, and all of that has resulted in both Ryan Wood and Pascal Calvel running very wide. Parky is now through and ahead of Ryan Wood. Josh Reed is right behind Ryan Wood, and so Woody is going to have something to think about at the end of this first race. 2 wheels on the curb, the exit of the Banks S's, no jokers taken on lap 6. So, lap 7. The advantage Kyle Catwell has now up to 3.4 seconds. Parky is third, Pascal Calvel is fourth, Ryan Wood has slipped down into 5th place. And now it's 8 points to Woody, because Josh Reed has eased past him as well as they approach Shak. And Reed nearly makes, and he does make contact, because Pascal Calvel was just losing the Team Suzuki entry there. He's fetched up against some of the Tech Pro in the middle. He didn't manage to quite hit the lighting tower, but after a tremendous race, the Martinican driver Pascal Calvel has dropped right down to the tail end of the field. And Woody is under pressure once again. Josh Reed is now trying to get alongside him. Parky is still ahead of him. It's not Josh Reed, it's Carlos Edwards, beg his pardon. And so in 4th place is Woody, 5th is Carlos Edwards, but no, he's not, because Snapper dives up the inside at the Seasash hairpin. And so it's now Kenrick Husbands who is up into 4th place, ahead of Carlos Edwards and behind Ryan Wood. Gap between Kyle Catwell and Darrell Clark at the end of the previous lap was 4 seconds. That should therefore mean Kyle can ease his way over the Joker lap. He's on the now. He'll be able to just glance to his left and see that Darrell Clark is comfortably out of the way. And so through the Seasash hairpin, he comes up to the Cockspur Cyclone and heading towards what will be his second victory in the Swift Cup. Well done to Kyle Catwell, an excellent run from pole position.
Jason Parkinson's 3rd place behind Kyle Catwell and Darrell Clark narrows the gap to series leader Ryan Wood by 3 points to 23, and Parky will start ahead of Woody for the day's 2nd race. Remember, there's still a maximum of 75 points to be earned.
You came from the back there just now. How did that feel? Darrell, for you?
Beginning to end.
Darrell, you started 2nd?
I started 3rd, but I came 2nd. I passed Pascal, didn't I?
Oh, yes, yes.
Kyle past him.
I was in 3rd, and I was like, all right. And Josh was just hammering behind me, and I was like, what? Can't get away. I just could not get away. Look at you. Well done, my friend.
I was running from the wolf pack.
Fantastic. Tell us, how did it go for you?
I think once you get a little lead, that's all you need. But be consistent. Don't try to make any mistakes, because you know it's very hard to gain from when you make a mistake, because everyone is just all over you. But it's a lot of fun.
Fantastic. I hope so. Next race?
I start from the back.
All right.
Just so we can see how it goes.
Fantastic.
Nice car. When are you going to let me drive it? One condition. I love this song. Turn it up. Is that better? I think you're missing something. Is that better, sir? I think we might be late. Better step on it. You go park the car.
Welcome back. The unpredictable weather has brought rain to Bushy Park, but the Swift Cup runners are not troubled with tyre choices, as the DMAC Hybrid Wet Slick Rally tyre is capable in all conditions. The second grid is based on the reverse of qualifying as usual, so looks like this. Barry Gale and Carlos Edwards on the front row, Tim Stewart and Jason Parkinson on row 2. Josh Reed and Christian Jeffrey line up on row 3, series leader Ryan Wood and Snapper Husbands on row 4. Darrell Clark and Pascal Calvel occupy row 5, ahead of race 1 winner Kyle Catwell.
Darrell Clark, Pascal Calvel, and the race 1 winner from pole position Kyle Catwell as they head down through the kink and into the hammer for the first time. Barry Gale holding on the advantage as they all break. Woody is trying to force his way through, but he's having to settle for where he is midfield at the moment. The rain falling, the track is slippery, the tyres that they run on are a sort of a hybrid rally come race tyre, but treaded, and therefore they can deal with conditions like that. A DMAC tyre which is absolutely ideal for these sorts of conditions, and down into the W's for the first time they go, and it is still Barry Gale with the distinctive white bonnet on his black Swift Sport, who leads as they come uphill over Millbrow for the first time. Up to second place is Carlos Edwards. Third is Josh Reed. Fourth is Jason Parkinson. Fifth is Snapper. Sixth is Woody. Still the championship leader, as I say, after that earlier race, but with a somewhat diminished championship lead. And it is the, on lap one, the Joker ends up being taken by Snapper, Christian Jeffrey, Kyle Edwards and Pascal Calvel, all of whom have sort of nothing to lose really, starting at the tail end of the field. It's still Barry Gale in the lead, but he and Josh Reed haven't been able to do anything about Ryan Wood. Parky is ahead of Carlos Edwards, as we reported. Snapper Husbands, and where has Barry Gale gone? Oh, I just couldn't see him because he's in a black car. He's lost the lead to Josh Reed. He's got Woody right behind him, but Josh Reed is leading this race. He has led races before, but Barry Gale is fighting back as they go down into the ICBLWs, and he gets alongside, and there's a bit of contact there. I think I saw the Josh Reed car just flick to the side. Woody will be watching this with glee. He's sitting in the prime seat there at the wheel of his Swift Sport, behind what is now a side-by-side battle for the lead on lap 6 out of 8, going down into the Dipper. Still rain gently falling, still very tricky track conditions, and Barry Gale fights back. Josh Reed takes his Joker on this 6th lap, so that leaves only Barry Gale, and Josh is going to rejoin, or has rejoined, only a couple of lengths behind Woody, so this one is definitely going to go down to the checkered flag. Barry Gale still in the lead at the end of lap 6. Ryan Wood behind him. Third is Josh Reed. Fourth is Jason Parkinson. Fifth is Carlos Edwards. Sixth is Snapper Husband. Seventh is Kyle Catwell. Eighth is Darrell Clark. Ninth is Christian Jeffrey. 10th is Pascal Calvel, both of whom retired from the earlier race, and the 11th and last man on the field now is Tim Stewart. Down into the W's, the penultimate time goes the leader, Ryan Wood, with Barry Gale behind him. Gets a little difficult in this half light, and Woody runs very wide, tangles a little bit with Barry Gale. That allows Josh Reed to get right up there with them. Josh is now ahead of Barry Gale, who will need to take his Joker, which he has done. So this is now a battle to the flag between Woody, who leads, Josh Reed, who is second, Jason Parkinson, who is third. The three guys who potentially could still win the title are all in there, although I think this may be Josh's last fling, but we'll see when we work the points out after this race. On to the final lap they go. Woody leads Josh Reed by 0.245 of a second. Parky is there in third place, having just set his personal best lap of the race. Barry Gale down to fourth after taking his Joker. Fifth, Carlos Edwards. Sixth is Snapper Husbands. Now watch those two cars as they pass below the Automotive Art Pits Complex down into the ICBLW. Still, Woody has the advantage. He said he was going to be bringing his A game to this final race meeting of the Summer Series, the Winter Cup to come in the early part of the 2017 season here at Bushy Park, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a little while. So watching it, still the very distinctive white Team Digicel car of Ryan Wood that is in the lead. Josh Reed's only got a handful more corners, a quarter or so of the lap in which to try and think of a way to deal with Ryan Wood, but Wood is treading very carefully in these tricky conditions. He is determined not to make a mistake, and he doesn't. So Ryan Wood, the championship leader, picks up a maximum 25 points. Josh Reed comes home in second with 18. Jason Parkinson in third.
So, with a maximum of 50 points still to be scored, Josh Reed has now dropped too far behind to claim the title. And of course he remains the longest standing Swift Cup racer not to have won a race. Woody's victory places him 33 points ahead of Parkinson, so the battle for the title is not over yet.
I was trying, but I made one or two slight mistakes that cost me some time, and you can't make any mistakes in this series because everyone is right there. So very tricky, very, very tricky. Just a little bit too much entry speed and the car on the stairs. I mean, I came together with Snapper because I was just trying to see when he went to one side, he went to the other. When he pressed the brakes, so did I. But he slowed down and I didn't because the car just aquaplaned. So all I could do was just kind of slide it into him sideways. So I need to go and shake his hand and apologize first.
The track wasn't as slippery as I thought it would be. We had some good battles there with Jason, Barry, Woody. Everybody drove real well. So I'm just happy to come in to redeem myself a little bit from the race before with a second place. So I'll take it.
Champion. Kyle is a champion. Woody is a champion. Who's the next champion?
Ready to race under floodlights with 30 or so towers sited around the track, the grid for the third race is based on points scored so far. Series leader Ryan Wood is on pole with today's other race winner Kyle Catwell alongside. Jason Parkinson and Darrell Clark on row 2, Josh Reed and Barry Gale on row 3, Carlos Edwards and Snapper Husbands on row 4. The regional racers are forming up at the back, Jamaica's Timothy Stewart, Pascal Calvel of Martinique and Guyana's Christian Jeffrey.
Out go the lights, and away they go. Under floodlights, heading down towards the hammer on lap 1 out of 8 in round 4, race 3. And Woody is on the inside of Kyle Catwell. They're side by side as they emerge from the hammer and head down towards the Shack Shack. It's Kyle Catwell who breaks first. It is therefore Woody who edges a little bit ahead, and Catwell's not only lost out to Woody but also to Jason Parkinson as well as they head through down the long straight into the ICBL's W's. It's Woody who leads as they come through that downhill right-hander, then up over Mill Brow. The grid for the final race is interesting as well, drawn out of the hat earlier in the day, but we'll tell you about that nearer the time. So who is going to be taking joker laps in the early stages of this race? And it is Snapper and Barry Gale on lap 1 who take the joker. And they rejoin. Oh, that was a little bit uncomfortable very nearly for Christian Jeffrey there. So Woody leads at the end of lap 1, a margin of just under 0.3 of a second. Parky is second, Kyle Catwell is third, Josh Reed fourth, Carlos Edwards fifth, and a challenge for the lead from Jason Parkinson on Ryan Wood. Those two, the ones who potentially can win the title, and Parkinson lost a little bit of ground there, almost getting swallowed up by third place Kyle Catwell in the ICBL car as they go downhill into the W's. The second time, an 8-lap race. I think a gentle touch for Catwell there has dropped him back into third place, but he's challenging to retake the place from Jason Parkinson as they turn into the dipper. Lap 4, Pascal Calvel is the joker, or the joker, as they probably say in Martinique, or perhaps not. And Josh Reed's on the inside of Woody. Is he going to get past him? Yes, he does. So Josh Reed moves into the lead. The second Swift Cup race he has led today. Woody is tucked right in there behind him. Kyle Catwell next up. Then Jason Parkinson, nose to tail, the leading four. Josh Reed's got just a little bit of breathing space from Ryan Wood, Kyle Catwell and Jason Parkinson. Catwell dives along, looks as though he was trying to dive along the inside of Woody going into the dipper. He runs wide, Parkinson gets alongside him. Catwell's going to lose a place. Well, he's fighting back, but Parkinson is up into third, and Catwell takes that chance to go over the joker, as does Darrell Clark. So the leading three have not done so, and neither have they built up the sort of lead that is necessary for you to be able to go over the joker and hold on to your advantage. Josh Reed leads by 9/10 now. He found another 4/10 or so over Ryan Wood on that lap. Jason Parkinson now the fastest man on the track. So we're on the penultimate lap. He's not a long way ahead. He'd certainly rejoin behind Woody and Jason Parkinson. So what's he going to do? Who's going to dive? Is it going to be Ryan Wood? Yes, it is. So Ryan Wood takes the joker on the penultimate lap. That might just give him the extra oomph he needs. Well, he's rejoined in third place, just, although Carl Catwell was trying to make sure that he couldn't, trying to keep him off that third place. On to the final lap they go. The white flag being displayed down on the start line, the gap up to 2 seconds. Josh Reed really has got his head down on this final lap. Not yet a winner. A huge number of podium finishes have gone his way. He's been second twice, third 3 times, fourth 3 times during this season. Over the joker he goes. Has he got enough speed to come out ahead of Ryan Wood? Yes, he has. Has Jason Parkinson got enough speed to come out of Ryan Wood? No, he doesn't. They're side by side as they turn into the Seasash hairpin. I think there was a little bit of contact there. That has benefited Carl Catwell, who looks as though he might be able to finish in third place. But finally, driving for Team Massey United Insurance, Josh Reed is a winner in the Suzuki Challenge Series Swift Cup, coming home 2.4 seconds ahead of Ryan Wood, with Kyle Catwell just 4/10 behind Woody. So, after 42 races, Josh Reed finally claims a well-deserved Swift Cup win to add to his many successes in rallying, while second place for Ryan Wood is good enough to clinch the Summer Series title with 1 race to go and earn him the extra prize of a radical experience at Bushy Park.
We've been behind Josh. We had confidence in him right away, and we just want to see him finishing first as he did just now. So we're very happy, very happy.
It was a pretty clean race, and started 5th. I had to work through some of the really fast guys like Jason, Woody, Kyle, but due to a little bit of carnage, I was able to capitalise, and then also I had the speed tonight that I think I could put the distance on the guys so they weren't able to catch me. A huge thanks to Massey. If it wasn't for them, this wouldn't be possible. So I mean, this is for them. This is for them. I hope that we can continue on this line.
I had nothing to lose. I said, you know what, you can pass me. I don't mind you passing me, but I'm not gonna let you. I'm not gonna jeopardize my race.
I was coming hard. I went to take the joker, and Woody went for the joker.
These 2 men know and I'll be track the park. He do so.
I started coming.
But also you play smart, but you cannot
Come inside, yeah. I cannot touch H because I had to get on the inside of Woody. I ain't had nowhere else to go.
Well, that was a good race. I hope the next race like that, hot like that.
1, 2, 3.
Suzuki!
As there had never been 4 Swift Cup races in one day, a mechanism was needed to decide the grid, and the old draw the names out of a hat method was selected. Drivers drew in order of point standings, Ryan Wood going first, but drawing 10th. Darrell Clark and Pascal Calvel were on the front row. Timothy Stewart now lining up for his 7th race of the day, having also contested the SR3 Cup, and Snapper Husbands are on row 2. Josh Reed and Jason Parkinson line up on row 3, Carlos Edwards and Kyle Catwell on row 4, ahead of Christian Jeffrey and Ryan Wood, with Barry Gale having now left the building.
6 laps only, so really they've got to get it all done pretty much at the start. Darrell Clark has capitalised upon the pole position he drew, is already pulling away with Pascal Calvel of Martinique tucked in behind him. Although, having said that, Pascal Calvel's really close. Looks as though he wants a challenge going through the W's. He'd like to win a round of the Swift Cup before the end of his debut season. He'd never competed in a right-hand drive car before he started in the Swift. All of his rallying's been done, and hill climbing as well, in a variety of left-hand drive vehicles. So are we going to see any jokers on the opening lap? Yes, we are. No particular surprise there in the form of Jason Parkinson and Ryan Wood. Parky joins 4 from the end. Woody joins pretty much where he was at the end of lap 1. Darrell Clark leads. Pascal Calval is second. Josh Reed third. Snapper is in fourth. Carlos Edwards fifth. 6 is Jason Parkinson. Darrell is determined to try and build up the advantage. Josh Reed is eased ahead of Pascal Calval at the Dipper and the Bullet. Snapper takes the Joker on this lap and rejoins where he was by the looks of it, although he's now under pressure from Jason Parkinson, who tries to get alongside coming through the Cockspur Cyclone and succeeds in so doing, but Snapper fights back. They're side by side as they go across the line at the end of the 4th lap. Josh Reed now just 1.4 seconds off the tailgate of Darrell Clark's Swift. So Darrell hasn't been able to make the sort of getaway that he would have liked to build up that magic 3 or so second advantage, which means you can take the Joker with impunity. Kyle Catwell is still going. I was about to say it sounded as though it was stuck in gear last time it came past, but he changed gear as he went across the line. So we're on lap 5, 2 to go. I can see the white flag already being prepared on the start line gantry, and Darrell is really going for it. He's holding on until the final lap. I think we're going... a little bit of contact there. Bit of a rough battle there going on between Snapper and Parky. On to the final lap they go. Josh Reed now the fastest man on the circuit, a 1:16.446. And where are the leaders? There they are, the 3 of them now heading along down past the pit for the final time, the last lap of this season. No more Swift Cup racing until the early part of next year, when the Winter Cup, the second half of the Suzuki Challenge Series, will kick off. It was 8 tenths between Darrell Clark and Josh Reed last time round. So then the leaders now coming along. The Joker Bridge is going to be quite busy because all 3 of the leaders need to come over it. It must be a little bit more difficult doing it in a gaggle, because if you touch those Tech Pro barriers, that's a bad thing. But no, they have made it work. And there's a challenge now for the lead. Josh Reed wants to spoil himself. He won his first race in the Swift Cup earlier in the day. They're going to be absolutely neck and neck across the line, Darrell Clark and Josh Reed. And I reckon to the eye that Darrell Clark just got that.
Despite missing out on a second victory for the day, Josh Reed still had reason to celebrate, as he claimed the fastest lap of the whole summer series in that last race to win him a radical experience at Bushy Park. Darrell Clark's win moved him to 5th in the standings, while Pascal Calval's 3rd place was his 2nd podium finish.
I started first, so I just got to try to stay up front. But Josh, he last started pressuring me real hard. He took the joke with me last lap, and I just said, nah boy, let me see what he can do here. But he had a better run than me, and I gave him the room on the outside, but coming out the exit, the last turn, I just had a bumper more than you? It was just like a bumper more.
Cool. Yeah, it was a photo finish for sure. It was really good. Real good, but Darrell held it together. He didn't crack under pressure, so congrats.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
The final Summer Series standings confirm Ryan Wood as the champion, beating Jason Parkinson, Josh Reed and Snapper Husbands to the title. All 4 had won races, as had Kyle Catwell, Darrell Clark and Jamaica's David Somerville Jr., while Pascal Calval, Trinidad's Ryan Perot and Dane Skeet had all visited the podium. As competitive as ever, bring on the Winter Cup early next year.